GameSpot's booth gallops onward with Scrooge McDuck, and I am really resisting the urge to sing the DuckTales theme song right now. Homer Ibarra gave you guys a taste of that earlier. I'm not going to tread on his toes. I've got Ray from Capcom and Austin from WayForward Games on stage. Gentlemen, welcome.
Yeah, thank you. Thanks for having us.
It's a pleasure. DuckTales Remastered, you guys bringing back, or, rejuvenating this classic from the NES era. This is a game that I played way back in the day while I was enjoying Disney afternoon cartoons and whatnot. It's really scratching the nostalgia itch for me. Is that your motivation here? You guys love that nostalgia?
Well, at least coming here in the show, I love talking about it because it scratches that itch for everybody. Everyone just, whether you've played the game or you just watched the cartoon or you didn't both, everyone just loves DuckTales, and I love talking about it. And this guy has had the honor of actually doing, working and creating content on it, and this guy's a bigger fan than I am.
Yeah, I'm a pretty big fan. Yeah, I'm probably the biggest fan. As a kid, I thought I was the biggest DuckTales fan that existed. I'm sure I wasn't the only kid that thought the same thing. I've heard many people say, like, one guy said earlier, had, like, his imaginary friend was Scrooge McDuck. So, yeah.
Really? I would have gone Launchpad, I think, for my imaginary friend.
Yeah, the hapless hero, but no, the last guy we interviewed with said that was his imaginary friend, and I'm pretty sure he was absolutely serious about it.
I'm afraid I can claim no such boast, but here we are seeing his imaginary friend made real in the game here, and let's lay the groundwork. This is a platformer. This is a game where you play as Scrooge McDuck. You don't think he'd be nimble, being like a wealthy businessman, business duck.
That's the thing about Scrooge, is that he's always been just this character that is kind of ageless. He's always been an adventurer. He's bringing the spirit of like Indiana Jones. That was kind of the feel of the original show, and he'll take on any challenge, and that's just what makes one of the things that makes Scrooge so amazing. Is just that he's just up to the challenge, up to anything.
And he's actually a very complex character. I mean, the guy is a curmudgeon-y old miser who penny pinching guy, but you love him, and I think that's why DuckTales is so pervasive, because as rich as he is, he keeps the important things in perspective, which is his family.
He's a philanthropist. He's got a vibrant family. He's got a killer golf swing, as we're seeing here. And of course, that cane is integral to Scrooge's ability to leap around. He uses that as a pogo stick, as a club there. Let's talk about the basic mechanics here of DuckTales Remastered.
Well, the mechanics are fairly identical to the original game. We didn't want to stray from what made the NES game as great as it was. So what we did originally is we played side by side with the NES version and matched like pretty extremely accurately. His jump height, the pogo jump feel. Because when you sit down and you play it and you get the controller in your hands, you want it to feel as close to the original as possible. And then after that, everything else just kind of falls into place.
And so, fidelity to the original, certainly something you guys value, but when you're looking at that original and looking at the gaming landscape now and what platformers are like now and what arcade games are like now, what kind of considerations did you take into mind to modernize DuckTales?
I think it's really apparent from just looking at it, because you had this team of artists at WayForward that are, these guys are Disney quality animators. Some of them actually had worked at Disney or had the same training. Basically, they had the leeway to add, to animate and bring Scrooge and all the characters in the game more to life. So, even though a lot of the moves keep the frames that they did in the original game, but they had the leeway now to add more animation. Like you saw when you do the golf swing and you hit the wall, he has this kind of like the feathers fly, and he has this little look in his face. Or when he was running, when he gets the invincibility, you can add a lot of character, and you breathe so much life from the cartoon into the game. I think that's really apparent that in the new game you're able to just make this really lifelike, cartoon like Scrooge McDuck.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. He's definitely much more expressive. Feels very lively. That dude just left like a stack of 4 treasure chests chilling back there. What is that?
I told him he should try to get through the level as fast as he could, so he could see as much of the art as possible. I thought it'd be fun to see other areas. He was playing it earlier, and he just made it look like he was really slow. And it's like, well, let's just see how you look when you're trying to like run through it.
That's good. Yeah, light a fire under that guy's feathered behinds. Very cool, guys. So in terms, obviously the visuals are a huge update. But Austin, you're mentioning. You're matching frame by frame the animations and stuff like that. Were there any gameplay tweaks to remaster that you felt sort of freshen things up?
There was a few. We made the pogo accuracy for the pogo jump a little more forgiving. When people were playtesting it, we were identical to the NES, and people were kind of like, I feel like I should be hitting this corner, I should be hitting this ledge, and so we kind of expanded a little bit. You still need to accurately hit, a step, but it's a little more fair. There were some other considerations. In the original game, there was a few red herrings for where gems were popping out. It was kind of a weird design thing of the 80s. We kind of took that out. Scrooge had a cane swing in the air, which in the original game was only used in one spot. Like you could only really use it in the Himalayas to get to just a single golden gem, and it just didn't fit the flow. It just felt like such an innocuous little thing that
you have to remember that one move and that one specific point in time.
There's a lot of people don't even know it exists. I think Ray just gave me a look that was just like, what are you talking about? I don't know that.
Stop making things up, Austin.
It's imaginary. It doesn't even exist. But there wasn't too much that we had to change. The original game, the core gameplay, is so much fun that it fits. And even for people that have never played a game like this, it's like, why are you having gems pop out of the air? It's just so weird. I've never seen something just magically appear, but it works. And people get into it and they have fun just exploring and trying to find every nook and cranny of the level and find some treasures.
Yeah, but for the easier levels, we did do some tuning to the health, the amount, the checkpoints, the lives that you get in order just to make the game more accessible. But that's specifically on the easier levels.
Oh, thank you for getting mauled by that plant. That was an enjoyable animation to see.
No, yeah, and that's another thing I'm talking about is that you're able to add all this expression that you never really saw before.
Yeah, the animators they were given a lot of free reign, because we'd start with the NES sprites side by side to try to match the feel, but sometimes they said, well, can we just try this? I want to try this. I want to see what happens when it gets eaten by the plant. I'm like, all right, and they just had fun animating it, and it just turned out amazing. We just went with it.
Yeah, you'll also notice that as that Chris, who had just died, is grabbing points throughout the level.
Gentlemen, dying on live stream.
Yeah, and he's actually a die-hard DuckTales and Disney guy.
Oh, I know.
But the coins are new to the level, and that's actually. Well, the writers at WayFor did an excellent job of injecting more of the episodic adventure to each level. So you're kind of explaining out what you're doing in this level in the Amazons, why you're collecting all these coins, and how you're going to use them to get to the scepter. Because in the original NES game, it was just very straightforward. You get in here, get money, get rich. But now it's more like, oh, I'm on an adventure. Let me collect all these things, and in a very Indiana Jones type of way, you're going to find your way to the scepter.
It's a little more than just straight chasing the bling. It's appreciate the sights and scenes. That's all you're around there.
Yeah, because in the original Amazon, it was a fairly straight level, but in the very beginning, it was two paths. It was like, well, do I take the above ground with all the gorillas, or take the underground with the spikes and the spiders? And we wanted people to explore more of the levels. There are other levels like African Mines later where you can bypass the entire level. And it's like, well, maybe that was interesting. When you could just skip everything. But we wanted people to really appreciate the design of the rest of the level, because there's some great designs in the original game, and so we wanted to bring people through the entirety of the level that way.
Yeah, I mean, and really, adding the story gave us the great opportunity to use the great VO that's in the title right now, which is almost all of the original voices from the cartoon.
Really?
Yeah. And
that cartoon aired a while ago. Those folks still down to do some Scrooge McDuckin?
Yeah, definitely.
Oh, yeah. Scrooge, Magica, the nephews and nieces. A lot of them are the same voice actors.
What is the name of that? The Scottish nemesis?
Flintheart Glomgold.
Thank you. I knew it was an awesome name. Just wanted you to say it.
I believe in one of the other countries in Germany, I think he's Mac Moneysack.
I love that name. But I mean, you really get the full package that you weren't able to do on the original NES game. So you're not only just reliving playing the original game, you're really reliving that Saturday morning feeling. It's just like playing this game will be like watching the episode that you never got to see.
So, speaking of episodes, this wouldn't happen to coincide with like a reboot DuckTales series or anything you guys are scheming on.
Neither of us work at Disney, so I mean,
we're making fan videos in our spare time, so maybe we have no idea.
Yeah, speaking of disturbing DuckTales fan videos, there's some out there that are pretty bad.
Any happening in your, you guys have like a sled of Scrooge McDuck gold somewhere here at E3 that I keep seeing photos of people hanging out in.
Oh, actually, it's not at E3. There's a gallery nearby. It's the I Am 8-Bit video game art gallery, which has an excellent video game art from the entire industry. But there is a money bin there, a life-size money bin. I've taken my picture there. It's full of foam coins. You know, if anyone at E3 or in the LA area has time, it's open until like another week or two. You can go there and take a picture in the money bin and just swim in it.
Practice your backstroke.
You know, there was a guy at the opening night who was a little drunk. He did try to do the belly flop.
Oh no!
Although it is a pile of pillow coins, it's not as deep as it seems, and it's on a raised, hollow wooden deck. And when he landed, it was just like everyone, oh my. Oh, this is like a movie moment. But yeah, I encourage you to check it out. Just look on IM8bit's website, im8bit.com probably, and then you can find out where it's at.
All right, guys. Well, DuckTales Remastered. I just love watching Lil Scrooge jump around. The animation is looking great. Obviously, a labor of love for you guys at WayForward.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's probably the most fun I've ever had working on a game. It's been amazing.
Most fun.
Yeah,
Cool.
I really can't say enough. I mean, working with WayForward and you know, sometimes there's a game that developers get to work on that they just universally love, and not just as what they're doing. This really hits something with the guys working on this team, and they all really love it. I haven't worked on a game where everyone was just working for the game itself because they just love it so much. It's
always great to hear that kind of enthusiasm. So, DuckTales Remastered, what platforms and when is it coming out?
So it'll be out later this year in the summer. It's going to be available for PSN, XBLA, Steam, and Wii U eShop.
Excellent. Ray, Austin, thank you guys for coming on the show and showing off DuckTales.
Thank you.
Woo-oo, indeed. Had to do it. So sorry. We'll be back after this short tape segment, folks, for another live demo here from E3 2013.